Hello, friends. This is Christopher Davis-Shannon, and today I am checking in with the podcaster and multi-instrumentalist, Mr. Abe Deshotel. Abe, how are you doing today?
Hey Chris, hey, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, happy to have you on here, and I'm glad that I finally get to interview you for once. My, how the tables have turned, sir. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, would you mind starting us off with a tune?
Sure thing. All right. This is a guitar, as you can see. I'm gonna play one of my favorite songs of all time, "Hey Hey" by Dispatch. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. Well, I'm moving kinda slow on that same old path, wasting time inside this hourglass. She's coming up ahead now, and I feel, yes, I feel my head turning like a race car wheel. Maybe I'll try to say I another time. I gotta find a way to get inside your mind. I'll talk smooth, walk one step closer. I'll be real cool, real cool, real cool, real cool, dang, real cool. Say what you want, say what you mean. Question yourself, are you really what you seem? Say who you are, say what you mean. Question yourself, are you really what you dream? Now here I come one more time, but she slides on by. Not even a second look, she took the bait. Right off of that hook, I got my blinders on tight. I pull my cap a little lower, I can't hide away. You might think this is easy for me, but there's a lot of things you don't know, you don't care, you don't wanna see. A long while since I've got myself across, and baby, there's a reason for that. Even if I caught you, I throw you back. Say what you want, say what you mean. Question yourself, are you really what you seem? Say who you are, say what you mean. Question yourself, are you really what you dream? Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Well, I really don't wanna fall back, 'cause you don't seem like you care. And if I would fall back, you don't seem like you care. Fall down your back, fall down your back, fall down your back, fall down your back. I will not hold you back. Fall back, you don't fall back, you don't fall back. Oh no, oh no, oh yeah. Fall back. Oh no, oh no, oh yeah.
Thank you so much, Abe. That was
You're
a wonderful
welcome.
way to kick this off.
Yeah, thanks.
So Abe is a man of many hats, both literally and figuratively. He's a podcaster, a musician, an educator, a father, a million other things, I'm sure. Um, I got to know Abe through the ukulele scene and through his podcast, Abe's Ukulele Podcast. And I'm actually have been curious for quite some time. What spurred you to get into the podcasting game, and specifically on ukulele? Since you do so many other things in your life, what pushed you to this certain little niche?
Yeah, good question. Well, I love podcasts, and I started. I don't know what the first podcast was, but the first ukulele podcast, and the only one I was aware of at the time was Uketown Podcast, and I listened to it when it came out every single month. At a certain point, Stuart Yoshida, the host, he said, "We need more ukulele podcasts," and he put out a call. And then somehow I got this idea that, oh, I need to make a podcast. I can totally do this. I've done a lot of like audio editing and technical musical stuff like that. So I thought I could totally do this. And I fell down this rabbit hole of like, how do I make a good podcast? All this sort of stuff. Yeah, so I just started making it, and it's been going pretty well. I think it's like the most popular thing that I've created as an artist so far.
And that's a great feeling, right? Something you created from scratch is making such a huge impact. I know you have a lot of listeners out there, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to this have been listening to your podcast for some time. Say, fans of mine, I've been on there myself a couple times now, waxing poetic about everything in the music world, which I greatly enjoy. And one thing that I personally love about Abe's podcast is it feels as if it is the NPR version of an ukulele podcast. You have this soothing quality about you, and the way that you interview people is in depth but doesn't seem imposing on them. And I think that's a very hard skill to have. I mean, how did you feel when you were first starting out the podcast and interviewing people, especially, well, most of yours are in-person interviews, right, that you do on there. You've only done a few remote. But that's certainly a new skill set that I'm sure you had to develop outside of music, although the two can certainly inform each other a little bit. Yeah. Do you feel that you've practiced and grown as an interviewer now?
Yeah, I've definitely grown a lot. I've been complimented for my my interviewing skills, but a lot of times, and I'll say this to most of my guests, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
No
studying
one does.
like how to be a good interviewer all the time, and I do have like rough scripts when I talk to people, but a lot of the times I have to pretend like I don't know what I'm talking about, because it's like I need some natural curiosity, and I do get incredibly nervous because I want to tap into like what makes this person so interested. Like if I ask the right question, they will not stop talking, and that's good. I don't want them to talk too much, obviously. That's just a part of the skills as an interviewer, but it's kind of like I'm walking this fine line between like I want to prepare and know plenty of stuff about this person, and I don't want to ask them questions they get asked all the time, but still I just
Right.
need to like I need to talk about what is interesting to them. And I do want it to be like I'm really really picky. I really hate doing remote interviews, because not only is it easier for me to control the quality, but also I feel like the interviews themselves, the conversations are just better if you're in person.
Oh, agreed. There's something to be said for being physically in the same room with someone and having a conversation with them, because ultimately that's what you're doing, is just
Yeah.
having a conversation. And it's tough when you have no eye contact
Hmm.
with someone. I feel especially really you feel less connected to
Hmm.
things. And maybe that's the theme of 2020 is learning to overcome that right
Yeah,
there.
I'm lucky. I have episodes in the bank that I can put out this year, but once I get at that point where I have nothing left, it's going to be interesting. What do I do? I feel like I'm a pretty antisocial person in general. Like I'm friendly to talk to, but when I'm in an interview with someone I don't know, especially, that's when it's like really really stressful. Sometimes I'll get headaches like right before, and it's like, why? why? I'm ready. But then it's like, I'm not really ready, but let's just do it anyway and see how it goes.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, and you can see the correlation in music as well. That, I mean, doing something such as this, or your interviews, is a performance in and of itself, but it's a very different performance. So I think it's natural to get butterflies before you walk out on the proverbial stage.
Doing something right. If it's, if I'm nervous, then I know it's like, okay, this is important. This is a big deal.
Right. Being comfortable is being complacent sometimes.
I've been really lucky to interview some of the best players in the world, like Jake Shimabukuro and James Hill.
Yeah.
And I like to drop those names just because, but there's so many great people I've talked to, not just yourself, but, even just Joe Sousa is like the most recent episode. It was so cool to just meet him and just talk about Kanilea. And I'm sure he talks about it all the time, but it's just different when you're there in person. Especially the environment I recorded in is super noisy. It's at this festival outside, but yeah, it's really great to just, get at the heart of it and just be right there in their face and just ask them, like, what makes you tick? What do you care about with this ukulele? Why is it, that's one thing that really excites me, is just I find a great teacher or a great player and it's like, come here, let me talk to you and let me pick your brain. Because it's kind of at the core of it is like my own curiosity as a teacher and a player. It's like, I want to get better. So can you guys help me? It's a little selfish, like, hey, tell me how to play and write songs, please.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten the same feeling when I listen to your interview with James Hill, especially because he talks quite a bit about pedagogy and his methods of teaching in there. And it's that's actually one of the things I personally love so much about your podcast is the focus on education and teaching in there. And it's great to hear perspectives from other teachers, because we get this, you and I both, we get this little bit of it when we're at festivals. You can drop in on other workshops and see how people teach and also how your workshops go over. But to be able to sit down with someone and talk about the back end of how they put together their educational plan, I think it really help propel yourself to be a better educator as well, just having a new perspective on that. And that's something that we're not always afforded as uke players and teachers, especially because it's not like there are thousands of us in each city hanging out and talking shop about these things. So I think podcasts such as yours are really giving us a new outlet to be able to have those discussions that we are unable to have in person. And that's a real service to the uke community as a whole. And I think is going to make us all better teachers and all better players in the long run, to be able to really have that showing and sharing of ideas with each other.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's my goal.
Good. Well,
that archive of like precious knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to drop some links in the description here for Abe's podcast and his website and all that, so you can check it out. And even if you don't like uke, I think it can actually be a beneficial podcast for musicians as a whole. There's a lot in there for us, because I'm not solely a uke player myself by any stretch of the imagination, and I think there's a lot of content for all of us. So Abe, would you mind playing us another tune, maybe on uke this time?
Yeah, I got one of those here.
Is it just one floating around?
They're on my feet. Okay. Another song. This is my my prized rosewood Pono. I was really lucky to get straight from the Pono shop. And my Paw Patrol sticker. No, not sticker, Band-Aid will help me get through it. This is one of those songs that I really hate playing, but it's the first song I wrote on this when I got it, and I just really love it. It's about it's a song I wrote. It's called Right Here, and it is not available anywhere except right here. All right, here we go. Waking up early is just too tough for me. I've gotta get up, but I just can't break free. Maybe I'm lazy, but maybe I just wanna be here in the softness of morning, just you and me. but stay right here. I'll stay right here. Finally moving, gotta get myself some caffeine. Feeding these ducklings, yeah, sometimes feels like a dream. Growing and learning so fast I can't keep up. Before I know it, I'll be missing my family. So I'll stay right here. I'll stay right here. Legos and screaming and TV shows what we believe. What happened on the daily, but really it don't bother me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm sure I just wanna be here in the moment of love with my family. Better not blink or I'll miss you. Better not blink, 'cause I don't wanna miss you. So I'll stay right here. I'll stay right here.
That was a beautiful song, Abe.
Thank you.
So for people that want to find and listen to some more of your original music, where can we do that? Say, I know you do write quite a bit of songs.
Yes, I do. So ukuleleabe.com is where you could go. I put out an album 2 years ago, and then now I'm just writing songs and putting them up for my fan club. They're kind of like demos, and that song is on there. But it's kind of like an engine to get myself keeping making music. But I really want to get in a studio to record, and it's not cheap to do that. So it's something I'm trying to do this year. But we'll see. For now, it's just if you want to hear more of my music, you go to my site and become a fan.
Hey, nice. And then you have access to all the demos, and you get a little bit of the backstage there too, and see the songwriting process a little bit.
Attention from me.
Your last record, you did do that at a studio, right?
Yeah.
The last one that you put out. What?
Funded too, which was pretty awesome. A studio in Boston, Plaid Dog recording.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 songs, not super big, but it was pretty awesome. I didn't need to put any of my own money into it.
And it's a beautiful thing. And I know a lot of people don't really think about it. Going in the studio for a musician seems like such a natural thing, but in this day and age, with the lack of label support for most artists, but also the accessibility and ability to record much more easily, well, one of the toughest parts is really funding recordings. A lot of us are writing songs out there, but it's tough to financially justify sometimes putting them out in the world when the ROI is nearly non-existent.
Yeah,
to be blunt about it.
My like even the all the home recording equipment you can get is kind of amazing. I recorded an album myself, like even further than that. It doesn't sound that great with my band called Pride Swell, but it's just even going into a studio with a producer, someone who has experience, but they don't have like a financial stake in, how good your music sounds. They're someone who will just like, objectively give you, really good opinion. Not only the physical, what you can record, like the drum sounds I got on that record, I just love them. I don't think I could do that myself.
Yeah, that's, I mean, without a good room to record drums in, I know I've done records where I do a lot of the recording at home, but when it comes to drums, we're renting a live room. that's live, and someone else is mixing it. But acoustics play such a role in it, especially for an instrument like that. With something like vocals, you can make it work at home a lot of the time.
Away with it.
Yeah. And I mean, and we're blessed to be able to do that.
Noise. Sorry,
that's where I'm doing my next record, is at your house. So, but yeah, I mean, it's nice that we have all these home recording sets, but there's definitely still a huge place in the world for recording studios, and also the engineers that work in them. We're musicians primarily. The skill set that engineers and producers have, or something that you only have so much room in your brain for knowledge, and we're worried about playing instruments, and it's nice to have someone else behind the console. That's
true.
Working all that magic that we can't do ourselves.
I would like a producer as much as I do now, because like I said, I recorded one by myself. I thought, I can do this. Home recording equipment is fine. I just need, and then I did, my first album in the studio. It was in Boston. The commute was hell, but I love the final product, and I think so much of the credit goes to just the producer and having him there to
certainly. Yeah, that third party set of ears on your music, because sometimes as songwriters, we've been playing those tunes out for so long. This is just how it goes. We know how the song goes, and sometimes someone needs to tell you, maybe you should try it this way. And sometimes the littlest change makes the biggest difference.
This is not working. Let's just leave it off. That happens too.
Yeah. When it's also, it's tough as an artist sometimes to put your ego aside, because we get so connected to our art, but we're not always right by any stretch of the imagination. We're not nearly ever right when we're in the studio, and and a recording is definitely a different product than what we're doing live as well. There are limitations to each, and I think mentally we think about them, at least I do, as really different artistic expressions, recording versus live performance. And something that translates well in one will not necessarily translate well in another. That's a constant struggle.
Yeah.
As it's so. So if you want to check out Abe's writing, I'm going to put some links to his last record, as well as his Bandcamp, where he's been releasing some new demos over there. So you can start to listen to sort of how the sausage is made in Abe's head. Abe, would you mind playing us one more tune?
Yeah, let's do it. This is a song that I love. I love all the songs I play. I can't play a song.
Well, why else would you play them, right?
I'm really happy because I just finally figured out the chords to this song. I did not write it, of course. That would be silly. I figured out the chords to my song.
Hey, sometimes I have to figure out the chords to my songs. I'm going to be honest with you.
Have you ever had that? I've had problems like where I write a song and then I can't play it, and it's like
90% of the time. I always write things beyond my skill level. That's half the fun.
Okay, this is let's see if you know this. It's a Disney song. I like the chicharrone, like to make it home, more healthy fish with a big backbone. I'm Abraham DeLacy, Giuseppe Casey, Thomas O'Malley, O'Malley the alley cat. I've got that wanderlust, gotta walk the scene, gotta kick up highway dust, feel the grass that's green. Gotta strut them city streets, showing off my E-class. Yeah, telling my friends of the social elite, or some cute cat I happen to meet, that Abraham DeLacy, Giuseppe Casey, Thomas O'Malley, O'Malley the alley cat. I'm king of the highway, prince prince of the boulevard, the duke of the avant-garde. The world is my backyard. So if you're going my way, that's the road you wanna seek. Calcutta to Rome, or home sweet home in Paris. Magnifique you all. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I don't know how to play that part. I only got myself in this big old world. But I sip that cup of life with my fingers curled. I don't worry what road to take. I don't have to think of that. Because whatever I take is the road I make. It's the road of life. Make no mistake for me. Yeah, Abraham DeLacy, Giuseppe Casey, Thomas O'Malley. O'Malley the alley cat. And I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
That is surprisingly the last Disney movie that I watched a few months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love that movie. And I have never in my life been accused of being Thomas O'Malley if I were a cartoon character.
That's a good song.
No, I love that. There's a lot of great tunes in that movie. But I mean, Disney in general.
Right.
Some really fine songwriting over the years, especially that 50s and 60s, 70s period. A lot of really great tunes coming in. Not to put the Ukulele Ike work by the wayside in the earlier films, of course. Yeah, all that Cliff Edwards voice acting.
Definitely tricky with just like talking in the middle of the song, you know? It's like,
yeah,
an alley cat. And I don't want to do that. It's like, it feels weird.
Well, I mean, it's just like you have an opera. It's practically the same thing.
Cut out the talking. We don't need that. We know what's
yeah.
going on.
Well, Abe, thank you so much for joining me today and playing some tunes and chat with me. I greatly appreciate it, and hope to see you again soon so we can chat in person.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you mind giving us a little bit of exit music?
I will. I'm gonna get something else. My concertino. That's my favorite sound.